The jungle was silent before the blast. Bird-like creatures scattered from the treetops as thunder shook the sky. The human outpost on the edge of Galvath Ridge had been attacked without warning. The mission had been peaceful for months. No one expected war. Jack Rayner wiped blood off his brow and pushed through the tall alien ferns. His arm was burned, his armor cracked, but his bow was still strapped to his back. He had been a scout, not a warrior. But now everything had changed. Attackers weren't pirates or rebels. They were royal warriors from the planet Cirella, tall, fast, deadly, and beautiful. Their queen had declared a sacred challenge after the humans had unknowingly crossed into her holy forest. Now it wasn't a war for land. It was a war of honor. Jack had been separated from the others when the first strike hit. He moved carefully now, each step measured. The forest whispered danger, and every shadow could hold death. A sudden sound. Sharp, like a breath being drawn too close. Then, silence again. And then it happened. An arrow tore through the air, straight at Jack's heart, but his hand moved before his mind. In one blink, the arrow stopped, caught between his fingers. His breath hitched. He had caught it mid-air. The trees parted slightly. She stepped forward. She was like no warrior he'd ever seen. Her skin was smooth, pale silver with a soft glow. Her eyes shining with golden fire. Armor clung to her form like flowing metal, both elegant and dangerous. Her long hair, white as snow, moved in the breeze like smoke. She was young, tall, and every part of her screamed strength and grace. But her face twisted in shock. "You caught it," she said. Jack didn't move. "Wasn't planning to die today." "You can't do that," she whispered, staring at the arrow in his hand. "Not here. Not in the sacred grounds. No male is allowed to stop a royal arrow. By our law, I must." She paused, her jaw tightening. "You must what?" Jack asked, unsure whether to prepare for another attack or a strange apology. Her golden eyes narrowed, not in anger, but confusion. "And fear. I must marry you," she finally said. "By sacred tradition. If a male catches the royal arrow before it hits, he is now my fated bond." Jack stared at her. "You're kidding." "I do not joke," she said. "My name is Virella, Princess of Cirella's 9th moon, and now I belong to you." Jack blinked. Somewhere behind him, he heard the distant rumble of another explosion. His team was still out there, and the war wasn't over. But now he stood in front of a royal alien warrior girl who had tried to kill him, and now claimed to be his wife. "Let me get this straight," Jack said slowly, lowering the arrow. "You tried to kill me, I caught it, and now we're married?" Her cheeks flushed with a faint blue hue. "It is not marriage as your kind sees it. It is bond, sacred joining. I am to serve beside you in battle, live with you, bear your name, and what? Children, one day." Jack opened his mouth, then closed it. He wasn't sure whether to laugh, scream, or run. "You should kill me now," she said quietly, avoiding his eyes. "If you don't accept, I will be exiled, shamed, or executed." For a long moment, Jack said nothing. The war had already taken too much. Friends, peace home. But now this? "You can fight?" he asked. She looked up sharply. "Better than most." "Then stay close," he said, tossing the arrow back to her. "Let's survive first. We'll talk marriage later." Virella caught the arrow with a graceful spin and followed him as he moved deeper into the jungle. From that moment, nothing would ever be the same. The jungle got darker as they moved forward. The thick trees blocked the sky, and the air was heavy with mist. Jack kept his bow ready while Virella followed silently, her glowing eyes watching everything around them. She moved like a shadow. No sound, no fear, but Jack could feel her presence. Not just beside him, but in his mind. He finally stopped near a fallen tree. "You're quiet," he said, scanning the path ahead. Is that a good sign or a bad one? Varela tilted her head. I am thinking about how to kill me or how to stay married. Her lips curled just slightly. You are strange, human. I get that a lot. She sat on the log, her armor catching bits of light through the trees. Jack noticed how she sat like a soldier, always alert. This war started fast, he said. Why now? We were here for months without trouble. Varela looked at the ground. Your kind built your outpost on our sacred ground. No one asked. No one warned us. And when we protested, your leaders ignored it. Our queen had no choice. Honor demanded action. Jack rubbed his face. Figures. The higher-ups mess up, and people like us bleed for it. She glanced at him. You don't speak like a leader. I'm not one, just a scout. I was supposed to map the trees, tag plants, report back. I didn't sign up for war. Yet you caught my arrow, she said softly. That makes you more than a scout now. Jack leaned back against the tree trunk. I didn't mean to catch your arrow. My body just moved. That is the law of fate, she said. Jack shook his head. I don't believe in fate. Varela stood up. You should. A sudden movement in the bushes made them both go silent. Jack raised his bow. Varela slipped behind a tree, ready. A group of Sorellan warriors passed near them, 3, armored, with long curved blades. They didn't see Jack and Varela hiding. They moved fast like they were hunting something. Or someone. Jack looked at her and mouthed, Friends of yours? She shook her head. They wear my clan's mark. But if they find me with you, they will kill us both. Romantic, Jack whispered. Varela grabbed his wrist. We must move. They waited for the warriors to pass, then slipped deeper into the jungle. This time she took the lead. She knew the terrain better than any map could show. Jack followed, surprised at how natural it felt. For someone who just tried to kill him. She now protected him without question. They stopped by a small stream. Varela knelt and touched the water. We're close to the ridge. Your outpost is 2 ridges over. We can reach it by dawn if we move now. Jack sat down on a rock. I'm tired. My team's probably dead or scattered. She looked at him. And you're not afraid? I'm tired of being afraid, he said. I've seen too much already. Varela watched him. Her eyes were no longer sharp like a blade. They softened. Just for a second. You don't act like the humans I've heard about, she said. That's because I'm not a hero, Jack replied. I'm just trying to get home, she nodded slowly. Then I'll help you. Jack looked at her. Why? She hesitated. Because now I am part of your story. He didn't respond. He just looked at this strange, beautiful warrior who fate had forced into his life. And for the first time in hours, he felt less alone. They rose quietly and continued walking through the jungle, side by side, like 2 shadows moving through a world gone mad. The jungle air grew colder as the night deepened. Strange lights blinked in the trees like eyes watching them from above. Jack and Varela moved without speaking, their steps careful on the soft, mossy ground. Jack's body ached, but he didn't complain. He had been trained for long missions, but nothing like this, lost, hunted, and walking beside an alien girl who was both deadly and oddly loyal. Varela stopped suddenly. There's movement ahead, she said, raising her hand. Jack crouched low, pulling out his bow. He could hear it, 2 quiet voices, and the sound of metal scraping against stone. They crawled forward through thick vines until they reached a small cliff. Below, a group of humans were trapped. It was what remained of Jack's unit. 5 soldiers, injured, surrounded by a full Sorellan hunting squad. The enemy had energy spears and drones. His team only had 1 working rifle left. Jack's heart jumped. That's my team. They won't survive long, Varela said. Quietly, I have to help them. She turned to him. If you do, and they see me with you, they may shoot me. Jack looked at her. Then stay hidden. I'll go alone. She grabbed his arm. No, if you go alone, you'll die. You just said they're my team. And now I am part of that team too, she said softly. Jack stared at her. In the dim light, her silver skin glowed faintly. She didn't look like an enemy anymore. She looked like someone who had already made her choice. I have an idea, she said, eyes locked on the hunters. But you must trust me completely. Jack hesitated, then nodded. All right. Varela moved fast. She disappeared into the shadows while Jack slid down the slope from another angle. He stayed low, making his way toward a fallen log near the clearing where the team was trapped. Then everything exploded into chaos. From the trees, a loud screech rang out. Varela leaped down in full armor, her twin blades shining like fire. She spun, cutting 2 Sorellan warriors down in seconds. The others turned, shouting in shock. Traitor! One screamed in their native tongue. Jack took that moment to shoot an arrow into a drone, sending sparks into the air. The battle was wild, quick, brutal. Jack's team, confused but smart, used the opening. The soldier with the working rifle took out a third hunter. Another soldier threw a smoke grenade. In minutes, the fight was over. The enemies were down. The jungle went silent again. Jack stood in the middle, catching his breath. His team surrounded him, their eyes wide. What just happened? Said a woman with a bloody arm. And who the hell is she? Varela stood tall, not reaching for her weapons. She's with me, Jack said. She saved your lives. The others looked at him, then at her, unsure. One man whispered, That's a Sorellan royal. We should tie her up. She saved you, Jack snapped. She didn't have to. Varela stepped forward slowly. I am Varela of the 9th moon. I chose this human as my bond. If any of you wish to harm him, you must fight me first. There was silence. No one moved. Jack looked at her, then at his stunned team. We're heading east, he said. Back to command. If anyone has a problem with that, speak now. No one spoke. The woman with the bloody arm just muttered, This war's gotten real weird. Jack smiled a little. Yeah, but maybe it's not over yet. They gathered supplies from the fallen enemies and began moving again. Varela walked beside Jack as if she'd always been part of the group. But deep inside, she knew what she had just done could not be undone. She had drawn blades against her own people. And soon, her queen would know. They moved fast through the jungle after the fight. Jack's team was quiet, still unsure about the strange alliance with the alien girl. Varela kept her head high, her steps light but firm. She didn't show fear, but Jack could feel it in her silence. After hours of walking, they reached an old Sorellan shrine hidden beneath the roots of giant trees. The place was quiet and peaceful. For now they took a break there. Jack cleaned a wound on his shoulder while 2 of the soldiers checked weapons. Varela stood near the shrine wall, tracing the carvings with her fingers. These are your people's symbols? Jack asked, coming closer. She nodded. This shrine is older than our queen's. It tells of the first bond when a warrior caught a queen's arrow, and she gave up her crown to follow him. Jack raised an eyebrow. So this isn't just a marriage rule. It's sacred history. Yes, and I have broken it in every way. How? I attacked you without cause. I failed to kill. I accepted the bond, then turned my blade against my own. Jack looked at her carefully. You saved lives. My people won't care. At that moment, one of the soldiers shouted, Incoming! Jack and Varela jumped to their feet. Above the trees, a Sorellan skyship dropped low, lights blinking red. It wasn't there to talk. It was hunting. Move! Jack yelled. They ran. Through the thick jungle. The ship fired behind them, sending blasts of heat through the leaves. Trees exploded. The ground shook. Varela grabbed Jack's hand and pulled him into a hidden tunnel under the roots. The others followed. Smoke filled the air. Inside the tunnel, It was dark and tight. The smell of earth and old metal filled their lungs. Jack coughed as they moved through. "They will call me traitor," Varela whispered. "But if we reach the next ridge, we can contact your command post. Will they even trust you?" Jack asked. "No, but if I stand beside you, maybe they will listen." Jack looked at her in the dim light. Even after running, even after being hunted, she still looked strong. Her silver skin glowed faintly. Her voice didn't shake. "You're risking everything," he said. "I already have," she replied. Behind them, the sound of metal feet echoed in the tunnel. Sorellan hunters had landed and were following. One of Jack's men shouted, "They're in the tunnel." Jack turned. "How many?" "Too many." Varela looked around quickly. "There's an old escape shaft ahead. Small, steep, but it leads up to the top of the cliff." Jack nodded. "Let's go." They ran, feet slipping, on the damp floor. Varela reached the shaft first and climbed. Jack followed, helping the others up one by one. But the last soldier slipped, his leg hit a stone, and he cried out. Hunters were seconds away. Varela dropped down without warning, grabbed the man by the arm, and threw him upward with a strength no one expected. Then she spun, blades ready. Jack shouted, "No! You'll be trapped." She turned to him. "This is the way of the bond. I protect what is mine." Jack stared at her, his chest tight. She was fighting again, not for a crown, not for pride, but for him. He reached down, caught her wrist, and pulled with all his strength. Together, they climbed out as the tunnel collapsed behind them. Dust and screams lost in the earth. The team lay on the rocky ledge, breathing hard. No one spoke for a long time. Then one of the soldiers whispered, "That alien just saved us all." Jack looked at Varela. Her hair was messy, her armor cracked, and her arms shaking. But she looked up at him and smiled slightly. "You still want to talk about marriage later?" he asked. She laughed softly. "Maybe sooner than you think." The ridge offered a clear view of the horizon. The jungle stretched out below like a sea of green shadows. Jack and his team set up a small signal flare to call for evac, but they all knew it might take hours, maybe longer. The war had grown too fast, too wild. Varela stood at the edge of the cliff, watching the sky. Her glowing eyes were calm, but her hands were tight at her sides. "She'll come soon," she said. "Your queen?" Jack asked, stepping beside her. "She doesn't forgive betrayal." "You didn't betray your people," Jack said. "You just saved strangers. There's a difference." "In our laws, there isn't." Jack didn't reply. He looked out at the jungle, then back at her. "Do you regret bonding with me?" She turned to face him. "No," she said. The others were resting, treating wounds, eating ration bars in silence. They watched Jack and Varela from a distance, now not with fear, but with curiosity. Trust had begun to grow, even if only a little. Suddenly, a voice filled the sky. Deep, cold, and echoing from above. "Varela of the ninth moon, step forward." Everyone froze. A massive royal skycraft appeared above them, its silver body wide, like a floating fortress. It cast a shadow over the entire ridge. From its center, a glowing circle opened, and a figure appeared hovering in midair. She wore a gown of metal and silk, and her crown glowed like a burning star. Her face was sharp, her eyes golden like fire, older than Varela's, colder, stronger. "The queen," Varela whispered. Jack stood beside her, bow in hand. "I am here," Varela shouted upward, "but I will not kneel." The queen's voice thundered. "You broke the law. You bonded with an outsider. You raised your blades against your own. Do you deny it?" "I deny nothing," Varela said. "I accept the bond. I accept the choice." "Then you will face the test of truth." The circle of light grew brighter. From it descended a creature, half machine, half living metal. Its long arms were blades, its chest glowed with energy. It landed on the ridge with a heavy thud, the ground trembling under its weight. Jack raised his bow ready. "No," Varela sighed, stepping forward. "This is my test. I must face it alone." Jack grabbed her arm. "You'll die." "Then I die for the bond I chose," she whispered. She stepped forward slowly, her body straight, her weapons drawn. The machine charged. She moved like lightning. Their clash was loud and fast, blades spinning, metal hitting metal, sparks flying across the rocks. Jack's team stood frozen, watching the dance of death between the girl who saved them and the weapon meant to punish her. The Queen watched in silence. Varela struck fast, but the machine was stronger. It slammed her into a rock wall. She gasped, blood running from her lip. Jack stepped forward. "Don't interfere," she said, rising again. "It must be me." She rushed forward again, ducked under a swing, and slashed across the machine's chest. Sparks flew, but the machine caught her arm and lifted her. Jack couldn't take it anymore. He fired. The arrow struck the machine's eye, making it howl. It dropped Varela. She hit the ground hard, but rolled to her feet. In that moment, Jack ran to her side and stood beside her. "If you're going to test her, then test us both," he shouted. "We're bonded. Isn't that your tradition?" The Queen's eyes glowed brighter. "So be it." The machine charged again, but this time, Jack and Varela fought together. Two sides of one rhythm. He struck from a distance with arrows that distracted. Weakened. She moved in close, slashing low, cutting deep. Together, they brought the machine to its knees, and then, in one final moment, they struck at the same time, an arrow to the core, a blade to the neck. The machine shut down, smoke filled the air. There was silence. The Queen lowered herself onto the cliff, walking forward slowly. Her gaze was hard, unreadable. Varela stood tall, bloodied but proud. Jack waited, his bow still ready. Finally, the Queen spoke. "You have passed the bond trial." Jack blinked. "That's good? No one has ever survived it together. Your lives are now linked forever. The law binds what fate has written." She turned, her voice echoing again. "Let all who witness know, the bond is accepted. The war ends here." Then she vanished into the sky. Varela fell to one knee, breathing hard. Jack caught her. "It's over," he whispered. She looked up at him. "No, now it begins." Days passed after the battle on the ridge. The jungle war ended not with more blood, but with silence. The Queen's command was final. The bond between Jack and Varela was sacred, and by ancient law, no one could challenge it now. The human outpost was rebuilt slowly, this time with care and respect. New signs were placed to mark Sorellan land. Varela stood at Jack's side during every meeting. At first, the soldiers and officers stared. Some whispered. Others questioned, but none dared speak against the warrior who fought beside them. She was no longer seen as an enemy. She was one of them. Jack walked with her through the new base one morning, past repair bots and drone scouts. The air was warmer, calmer. The war had left scars, but it also left something else. Hope. "You're still watching the sky," Jack said, smiling. "I'm not used to peace," she replied softly. He leaned against a railing beside her. "You could leave, you know. The Queen accepted the bond. You could return home." She looked at him, her golden eyes steady. "Home is where the bond leads." Jack turned to face her. "Do you regret it? Throwing the arrow? Losing your place as royal guard?" She shook her head. "I did not lose my place. I chose a new one." He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "You nearly died." "You caught my arrow," she said. "So I knew you would catch me again." Jack let out a soft laugh. "You talk like a warrior poet," she smiled. "We all become poets when the war ends." They stood in silence for a while. The sounds of the base behind them, the jungle far ahead. Life felt different now, less like a mission, more like a story with a second chance. That night, a simple ceremony was held. Not a wedding in the human way, not a royal rite either, but something between the two. A gathering under the stars. Jack wore his scout uniform, freshly cleaned. Varela wore ceremonial armor, polished to a silver shine. Soldiers stood around them, curious but quiet. A small light circle was drawn in the dirt, a mix of earthstones and Sorellan crystals. Varela stepped into it first. Jack followed. She reached out her hand. He took it. Our bond began in battle, she said loud enough for all to hear. But it continues now in peace. Jack nodded. You tried to kill me. And you caught my arrow. They both smiled. No one forced this, Varela said. No law now controls it. We choose. I choose, Jack said, his voice strong. Not because I must, but because I want to. The crowd clapped softly. No grand speeches. No orders. Just quiet approval. Later, after the lights dimmed and the guests walked away, Jack and Varela sat alone beneath the stars. You know, Jack said, I'm still not sure how I caught that arrow. You were meant to, she whispered. That's all there is. Jack looked at her, at the stars, at the quiet night around them, and for the first time in a long, long time, he felt like he was exactly where he was supposed to be.